Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to our weekly series on African immigrants and African development. For the last couple of weeks, we have been tackling different issues related to African immigrants in the United States and what could be done to improve on Africa. Today, we want to continue doing the deep dive into this topic. And strangely enough, it seems paradoxical that Africa, the one place that is so much in need, has yet to come up with the formula for its development. Africa is the one place that has, questioned the assertion that necessity is the mother of invention. We are in so much need, so why are we not inventing? Why are we not able to come up with the solutions? Africa is so rich in human resources, so rich in natural resources, yet we are equally so rich in poverty. What is wrong? And some people are going to attribute to leadership. Yes, of course, and that is true. It is one of the greatest drawbacks. And recently, we have also started hearing about religion. Many conversations over the last week on social media have been on the role of religion in underdeveloping Africa. And people have quoted examples, isn't it? Europe, the rates in Europe are declining. Christianity in Europe is declining, even in the United States. And we also go to the Far East, China and Japan. They are not Christian nations. They are not technically religious nations. And yet they are very rich. And Africans spend hours on end in church clapping and singing. And that is precisely why some people think that religion is part of the curse that Africa has inherited. But the one thing we are not looking at is we ourselves. How are we our own problem? What is it that we ourselves have done, can do in the face of the barriers? One of the books that I'm going to be recommending for us to read in the coming months is a book by a Cameroonian guy based in the United States, Benson, talking about challenges as opportunities. Instead of talking about challenges, let us look at them as opportunities and seize those opportunities. And as usual, in order to lead us in the conversation this evening, we are eternally grateful to Sir Okpa, and I usually say Sir Okpa because at least he has deserved it. He has tremendous amount of wisdom based in Dallas in the United States. He has offered generously of that wisdom, that fountain of knowledge, that wealth of information, that barrel of experience from which we all can tap. And we want to continue building this community of African immigrants. And the aim is not just to talk. For a gentleman of his caliber to give us his time, it cannot just be for us to talk. We are building up a community. And through this platform and through this community, we should be able to impact the role of African immigrants in the development of our continent. Thank you, as always, Sir Okpa. Welcome and good evening.
Hey, thank you, Lambert, for for this weekly conversation. I guess you look forward to it. Your audience look forward to it, and I look forward to it myself. And I send you texts and regular texts on WhatsApp with ideas. But it's up to you what you choose to have a conversation on. So that's what I do. That's what I enjoy. I write to provoke. I write to inspire. I like to make people pause and think something. Africa is not an invention. I guess for those who are the anthropologists and all these other orgies, they have shown through research that the oldest existence human remain was found in Africa. So If Africa is the birth of everybody else, how come the grandfather is suffering while the grandkids are enjoying? So it has to come. How do we look at ourselves from a collective existence, from national interest, regional collaborative relationships? There's nothing in this world that is hidden anymore. It could be hidden for a while, but it's going to get exposed. How to build an airplane, how to have a power plant, how to build roads, how to address issue of poverty. Poverty is part of human existence. Even when Jesus was with us, there was poverty, but people work towards reducing or minimizing that. The annoying part of it is that in Africa it increases even when they say Africa is rising. And so we need to look at those factors. What are the impediments? It's not that we don't have the degrees and certificates just like everybody else. It's just, when those things are given to us, what do we do with it? How do we challenge even our own family unit? For those of us who are, in America, your family calls us and says, everybody, hey, send me money. And then out of emotion and empathy, we send. And we're not getting wealthy, we're not getting rich. They're over there spending our money, expecting you to keep singing, thinking that America is a land of trees with dollars. You just have to go pluck it and send it to people. So those are mindset situations that needs to be addressed, and the individual has that responsibility. At what point do you stop and say, hey, no, I'm not gonna be used anymore. I'm going to affect things. Do you give or do you invest? So in your remark, you made something. You made a statement. Say Africa, is a rich continent, and I wanna, digress or disagree with that. Africa is not rich. Africa is endowed with resources that can make it rich. You can't be saying you are rich on one hand and then you are suffering and being obviously poor on another hand. So Africa is endowed, just like every part of the world is endowed. Anywhere God left a life, he left something for those people to do what? To work towards finding it and using it to make their life better. People live in the Eskimos, you know how cold that is. People live in the desert, you know how God left those lives there. So you gotta get out and work. So, but I think the world or the West have come in, or Africans themselves have, picked up on these. We are rich. How can you be rich and you still have water running in your homes? How are you rich? You don't have electricity that's been in existence in 100 or something years. Reliable and dependable. How are you rich? You can build roads. How are you rich? You're not paying salaries to make people, live well. How are you rich? Your schools, your physical infrastructure are deplorable. So you're not rich, but you are endowed. So if you look at your endowment might mean the minerals and everything else. Let's not forget, God didn't make Africa a special, group of people like, he gave us more mineral and more diamonds than everybody. The reason people come over there and do what they do is we are easy to deal with. They come in and, France has more gold bullions than Africa, where the gold is, supposedly in the ground. Because it's easy for them to come in there and get it and take it away. So let's change the mindset. Maybe when we change it and recognize we are poor, then we can start to do something to change. But if we keep getting all this feel-good notion Africa is rich, then we think we're rich. We're not rich. If you're rich, show it. Show it with what you have. Let the world come to you because you're rich. Africa is endowed, not rich.
So I agree with you that Africa is endowed, but you are endowed means that it is there.
It is there.
Yeah. So again.
And then this is going to segue into invention. They say necessity is the mother of invention.
Correct.
So if necessity is the mother of invention, did Africans invent air conditioning? It's hot. Is Africa invent water system? Did we invent building roads so that we can connect each other? So what have we put out in the world to show, okay, this 1 billion people actually, face, they have adversity like everybody else, but this is what they have come up and given to the world. What the world has always done is come in there and cut our timbers and haul it and process it and turn around and sell it to us in some kind of fine wood. Or take our cocoa and turn it around and sell it as chocolate. Or take our crude oil, which we didn't do. Lambert, in economics, there's a term called unearned income. You know what unearned income is? Unearned income is a resource that you didn't do anything for it to be there. Africa didn't do anything for timber to grow in their land. They didn't plan it. It was just a natural outcome. Africa didn't do anything for gold to be in the ground. Africa didn't do anything. Nigeria didn't do anything for crude oil to be found under their land. But having all of that has not given them any measure of higher standard of living.
So again, I listed one or two things about leadership being the problem, religion. There are many other reasons. What, in your opinion, is responsible for this fact of being endowed yet being so poor?
Well, it comes back to what we said earlier before the program started: benevolence and agency democracy or institutionalized democracy. You go to all the 54 African countries. Okay, let's talk about the sub-Saharan ones, the 49 or so of them. Every leadership in those countries are about the president or the prime minister. It has nothing to do with the collective existence. It has nothing to do with institutions that can say, Mr. President or Mr. Prime Minister, you cannot do this. So in the Western world, even when people say the President of America is the most powerful individual, Lambert, you and I live here. We see the difficulty the president has to go through in order to get anything done. Mm-hmm. Because the institutions are bigger than him. If he says certain things, Congress can say no. Our Congress can pass certain law and he can veto. So it comes in a compromise. So leadership in Africa is not the issue. It's the type of leadership. It's a leadership that puts weight on the benevolence of the president. So the president of Nigeria wakes up and says, I'm going to pay salary today. I'm going to pay federal workers. Boom, everybody's clapping and dancing. Shouldn't be that. People should be paid when they work. And it has nothing to do with the president. Or the president says, I'm going to build a highway connecting Nigeria with Cameroon or Niger Republic. Nobody questions it because the president said, let's go get it done. That's benevolent. So we are looking at his, how to make us feel good, but not how to do things that give us good feelings. So leadership is there in Africa, but it's a lousy type of leadership that has no counter. Nobody counters what that president's doing. I'll give you an example of Nigeria. There's one president and there are 36 states. So in all of Nigeria, with their so-called millions of population, only 37 people are important in that country. Only 37. So if Buhari decides to shut down the entire government, trust me, even Nigeria has a lousy Senate and a lousy House of Representatives. Those people are rubber stamp. But again, it's the way they crafted the constitution that enables one individual to control them the way it does. Or you go to the state, they have the governor and then the House of Assembly. The assembly members are another lousy set of people, rubber stamp. And the governor can shut them down. So then again, it goes to show you we may have the democracy, but we have benevolent democracy because there are no institutions that can override all that one individual is doing. And until those things are done, and it comes from the individuals standing up and challenging them. But again, when you do it and they still have the instruments of government, which is the police or the army or the secret police to come and kill you, and there's no recourse for that, everybody can survive, say, wait. So we got to change a whole lot of things before Africa can realize its richness because of how it is endowed. Until those things are done, even if Lambert, if you take all the money of the world and give to Africa and say, okay, we're going to give you 5 years to catch up. Or how much time do you need to catch up? Do you think they will do anything? They will be in Dubai buying up everything that they built. They'll be in London sending their girlfriend. They'll be in Paris buying every Gucci bag they can find. Because they are hungry people. They are desperate. They want to show, it's just like, I'm sure you've seen the Nigerian thing. When people go to party and they're spraying money.
Yeah. Yes.
Wealthy people don't spray money. People who earn money don't spend it out the way those people are. So, but the people who do it in the Nigerian way, they are showing off, but they have nothing. Those people are in the culture of money. Wealthy people are in the cult of money. They make money work. They make money do things. The African or the Nigerian is one that who if he goes in and does some fraudulent stuff in America, he goes home and he's spraying it on people, and the hungry people are dancing. But you could see the African people are also enable some of these behaviors that are counterproductive and goes against the global image we want to portray. I mean, I go to Nigeria. If I go to Nigeria and I have $2,000, that's give me 1 million naira. Lambert, if I go to my village and I have them dancing and I'm throwing money in the air and they're grabbing it, what image is that? What am I putting forth for people to see? So the individuals also have to change some of the things we do that enable people to think we are rich. So when you're spraying money, people think you're rich, but you're not rich. Look at the African in America. The African in America. What is the average income of the African in America? I mean, how many households are pulling in? If you pull in $225,000, you're in the 1%. I mean, apart from doctors, because of the healthcare situation in America, where they're paid well, and pharmacists and nurses. How many other families are bringing in that kind of money? So we are not where we're supposed to do. It's not about the money. It's that the attitude towards money is also the policies that we have to put in that takes no special interest about anybody. So when we just throw it out, and the president wakes up and decide how we do, we never will get out of that hole. There's you've heard the expression. What is it that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, you've heard that, Lambert.
Yes.
Okay, but in order for you to have light at the end of the tunnel, so there are things you have to do. You would have dug the tunnel, or keep digging the tunnel and know how long the tunnel is going to be to expect light. Africans haven't even started digging the tunnel. They're not even in the tunnel. So you're not going to expect any light.
Okay, so I mean, can you do that? I mean, I really love this. Tangan Chang says, I like this, Mr. Okpa. So you just mentioned something here. Wealthy people are in the cult of money, while rich people are in the culture of money.
Yes.
So again, cult and culture, they are all the same.
No, because the cult people, the culture, they're in cult. Remember, these are people who are in the inside. They control money. They know what they make money work for them. It's not like a cult in the terms of secret society. The culture is the people who not come in and flash it and dance. Oh my God, I got it. You buy your wife a car, you call your village people to throw a party for them. You get a little promotion. You celebrate that. You know what I mean. You buy a house, you call your village people to come and do libation. These people are in the culture of money. But the people who are in the cult of it, they don't dance about money. They use money as a tool to effect certain things in the collective existence of people. So Africa is caught up in the culture of money.
Yeah, but I mean, what is wrong with you celebrating with your people? At least when you spray the money like that, the ones that could not have.
No. But because it's like somebody who has been hungry for 365 days. You come in and you cook some rice, you throw some meat on top of it, and give them a bottle of wine. That's one day out of 365. So use that money to invest in something and say, hey, you know what? I have 1 million naira. I want you guys to match me. Let's build a market, a shopping center here. I'll put in my 1 million naira, because that is investment. You're giving people money. And how much are they going to grab out of that dance? Some of them are even going to hurt themselves trying to catch the money.
Right. So again, If you are just joining us here on the Lambom Show, and I'm talking with Sir Okpa, and today we are talking about African immigrants, and the development of Africa, what we need to do. There's something that you wrote which ties into this conversation of today, and is the distinction between empathy, sympathy, and policies, which I would like to read for the sake of the audience so that people can follow. And this is, I mean, the brief part of it. I mean, again, so Okpa writes a lot, so I'm going to put some of this at the end of the year into a book. Empathy attracts sympathy, while strategies attract efforts for reforms and policy initiatives to address voids. Minorities think empathy is what matters. Nope. America runs on policies and regulations. Until those are addressed for better outcome, nothing happens. I mean, so I guess you are trying to say that, I mean, we need to spend more time strategizing instead of running for empathy, sympathy,
Yes.
and all that.
We need, anything you do in America is governed by rules and regulations. So if you think those rules and regulations are not good for you, you as an individual or you as a community, you got to address that. But if you go on the street chanting, they say, oh, okay, you get in empathy. You want people to sympathize with your situation, but you're not addressing the reason why your situation is what it is. So to address your situation, you have to identify the law or the regulations that are keeping you where you are. That's how America runs. It's not, protest is fine. Okay, now that we've done the Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, and we've done all the chanting, has anything changed? Is the police not still shooting people? You have not addressed the issue of the police. Why police shooting people? Because, America doesn't have a national police. We have local police, and our police departments report to the city council. So if there are certain things they are doing, you go to in and look at those policies and regulations that enable the police to do what they do. And you could tell them through your city council effort, this is how you police citizens in my city. If you don't want to do it, go somewhere else. It's not like Nigeria where there's one inspector general. I mean, what do they call them? Inspector general of police who does this waterfall kind of rule. From there, it flows to everybody. But in America, no. I think there's like 1,600 or 16,000 police units in this country. So do the math, and everybody's independent. So the policy of law enforcement, you have to address it, from the local level, by your city council voting to say, hey, this is what we want. We don't want you to write anybody a ticket because their tail light is broken. You could give them a warning, and if in 10 warnings on the same issue, then it's going to affect their ticket and their insurance. We don't want you to write anybody. These are policy change, and that's what you tell your police. So so they're not going to write you a ticket for traffic light, or the only time you write somebody a ticket, for something is this. These are the items. You don't shoot anybody from the back, okay, except they have attacked you and they're running away from you. But if you pull somebody over and they come out of the car and run, don't shoot them. You can impound the car or all of that, but don't shoot from the back. Because Lambert, in America, if somebody hits you from the back, it doesn't matter what you did. They're wrong. You see how the insurance people look at it?
Yes.
So that's the policy for insurance claim. So the same thing we can say to the police: don't shoot anybody, even if it's a criminal running. Don't shoot them. The only time you shoot them is if they have shot you and they're turning around to run. You put that in policy, and if they do it, then the police is liable. But if you don't do it, then cry. You say, oh, it's black. It's a white issue. This America is a very funny country in the sense that if you come to them and you are not talking about the policy, they just fold their hand and watch you, because they know your energy is going to dissipate. After you beat your chest, Black life, you throw your fist up in the air, they're looking for you to say, this is the policy we got to change. And we don't do it as a people.
And I want to agree with that, even though slightly differently. But that point is very important, because the point that we have stressed a lot over this. So for example, today, there is a position that was sent, the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. They're asking the United States government to declare dead, that is designation of deferred enforced departure or temporary protected status for the people of, I think it should be Mauritius. I've forgotten the precise country, but there's one from Cameroon, and another one just came out today. But I looked at the list. There were 169, call it different organizations. I was trying to figure out how many African organizations were part of that. You can count them on one hand. And this is something that concerns us, but we are always depending on others to fight through, because we are too busy maybe chasing the dollar, we're in the culture of...
We're not invested. The African immigrants in America are not invested. They are too tiny. You know, a lot of them, rather spend money building their crappy so-called mansion in their country they don't live in to impress village people, than, spend time and invest in the country they have 24/7 life existence. Okay, so name any organization run by Africans in America that is about a general welfare of their members, that has a staff, that has issued a policy either at the state or local government level, or even the school board, and go in and say, hey, the books our kids are reading, we need to include this. They don't have that. Like you said, it's all about how much money they're going to make. And then if on Sundays they can invite their village people and cook some rice and drink some beer and talk about some crappy stuff, that's what they do. But what institutions do they have? Have you seen any organizations run by African immigrants that has an executive director that is on a paid salary? They don't. But you go other immigrants, they participate, they contribute money, they recognize. Africans don't recognize knowledge. I'm saying this is across the board. Africans don't even know what consultants and advisors do. Because to them, it's like, well, why am I consulting after I have a master's degree, after I have a PhD? You can sit in a classroom and get any paper you want. And I'm telling you, this is very, very important, because, it's a general statement, but I want one African country. Tell me one African country that's got it going on. I mean, the reason South Africa is even any country, that is of credible mention, is because of the white people there. Since the white leadership have, gone the other way, how are the black ones doing? So when we say Africa, yes, but I'm just saying, in the 54 countries or the 49 sub-Saharan African countries, please name one that is doing things that is advancing the overall well-being of his population. I mean, it's not like we're going to cure all the poverties. There's still some people that are going to be willingly want to be poor because they don't want to work, so the welfare will take care of them. But, tell me.
So there's a question there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it fair to lump the entire continent and paint all these 50 plus countries with the same brush? Is there any African country you can cite as a beacon of hope?
That's what I just said. I say, let the person that is asking the question tell me one country. We can talk about that one particular country. Just like when we say white people, not every white person is an enemy, and not every black person is a friend. So, which you want to talk about Kenya? You want to talk about Nigeria, my country of birth, or South Africa, the so-called beacon of Africa? Let's pick one. So the generalization is in order, because statistically, when you're talking about a statistical set data, the question is, if I'm going to look at 20 people, I'm going to say, okay, what are the chances? 15 of them are going to behave in this way. If I can prove that through statistical analysis, which is either through mode, frequency, standard deviation, or average, I could say, yeah, they behave like that. So there are exceptions, but that exception, I haven't even figured it out. So if we go to West Africa, there are 15 countries. Are we going to talk about Ghana? Are we going to talk about Senegal
How
or
about
Ivory Coast?
how about Botswana?
Botswana, where the president has 50 wives, and then, there's only how many of them? And I mean, theirs is an unusual situation because, but then again, how many people are moving to Botswana because of their economic, stability? How many people are moving there? I mean, Botswana is like, the Middle Eastern countries. Okay, there are very few of them. They make a lot of money, out of selling minerals. So they can, they can give themselves $20,000-$30,000 from sell of oil or crude, whatever it is. But after that, then what? I mean, is the Botswana healthcare system, a prime example of what is doing well? Do they have water system? Do they have roads? I mean, what is their tourism potential? These are the things, you look at the hardcore economy and then you look at the softcore economy. Botswana is fortunate to have money. I mean, they have a population, I think is 1 point something million. If you
2.3.
2.3. So if you look at the size of the country by they have the largest per capita of land. So I think it's something like, one Botswana to many, many thousands of acres of land. So what I'm saying is not an example that anybody want to copy because theirs is just a unique situation. Their currency, you can go look at the exchange rate, okay. And then how many, if Botswana is so wealthy, in what other African countries do they have investment? You know what I mean? Can they go to the neighboring African countries, in the region they are in and help them grow? Or just money for them to spend? So no. I am very comfortable brushing all African in one sweep because I'm looking for the example. You go to Central African Republic, Equatorial Guinea would have been that example. It would have been the Kuwait of Africa. But we see what has happened since they discovered oil, and it's a country of how many people? It's just one family that's been enjoying it. Lambert, the president of Equatorial Guinea, I received him in Dallas in 1998 on behalf of the city when he came here to sign the contract when Mobil discovered oil in the country. I was the one that received him at the airport. In fact, I was invited to come there. They put the ambassador in charge, but, Portuguese and English, I couldn't get through with them. I just, left it. But look at what has happened since then. Didn't American government seize the $300 million that he had, his son had in some Malibu, California investment? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? When the average Equatorial Guinea, don't even know where food is going to come next. A tiny country you could have made as an example. But, you pile up on all this cash, you buy expensive cars, your people crash it, but your people are suffering. Is that what we want to see? Is that an example we want to copy and paste? Or is it Angola?
No, so again, basically, yeah, the problem here is if you take each of those countries, they would have their peculiarities, their issues, isn't it? America has its own, and this is where I wanted to challenge you about the notion of systems, isn't it? Because here we have institutions, but we have also had problems with those institutions because this topic that we never want to get to about racism, you have a form of institutionalized racism whereby because of the system.
But every black person in America is not poor. I mean, we have black millionaires, we have black everything. So again, it could be a social perception so that we can, they keep us, in this sympathy mode, okay? So that we keep feeling sorry for ourselves. Black people in America, there are 45 million of us, includes you and I, okay? Because the census, look at us as either black or African Americans. You know what our annual consumption is 1 point something trillion dollars. So if you divided the consumption volume with our population, you're looking at about something like 25 something thousand dollars per capita. That is higher than there's no other African country that has that kind of per capita. But instead of us, developing strategy to invest in ourselves and take control of the resources we have that are us. We are busy whining about racism, about equality. Even though for those people who read the Bible, Lambert, you included, the Bible, you know one word that does not exist in the Bible?
No.
Or two words: beg and equality. There is nowhere, even God don't want you to beg him.
No. Okay, I'm sure that's the English Bible, because there are different things that the Bible.
No. I'm telling you, God. Even if you translate it and translate it to beg, then you did the wrong translation. There is no. God don't want you to beg him. God wants you to come to him and ask. That's why they said, he didn't say beg, it shall open. He said ask, and he shall, So equality does not exist in the Bible. There is no verse in the Bible that uses the word equal or equality. So we are here chasing equality. Even in our own various families, Lambert, are all our siblings with the same outcome? Is it not the same mom or the same daddy? Are all of them well educated, have the same kind of money, the same height, the same weight, the same everything? No, equality does not exist. What you want to do, what you want to look for when you live outside of yourself, even in your home, you don't want to be equal with your wife or your husband. That ain't going to happen. What you want is fairness. Reasonableness. But when we as minorities, they put this law, we're looking for equality, and we go, okay, I want to earn the same salary with everybody, it ain't going to happen. Yeah, it's like throwing a bone with a dog, and they keep chasing it and biting it, but they ain't getting satisfied with it. So in America, let's go back to America. Yes, America is not a perfect nation, but America is a far better nation than most countries, because I can get in my car now and start driving from here to any part of America, and I'm on the freeway system. I can't do it in Nigeria. I can't do it in Cameroon. I can, water that I don't have water in my house is if the system goes down or I don't pay my bill. It's not like where the governor said, I'm not going to give power to this part of, the city because they didn't vote for me. Isn't that what happens in Africa? The president said, this tribe didn't vote for me. I'm going to punish them. So there's a world of difference. And when we start to give those examples, it's to remind us, because now, there's what they say in Igbo, you cannot say your wife is the best except you have married 2 other women before. So we can say, our country is better because we have lived in 2. Is it not?
Yes, that's right.
Or if you live in 3, you can do that superlative, good, better, best. So when men come out and my women and so my husband is the best. So the question is, how many others have you married? Name them. So you compare it. So America is better than Nigeria. The worst days of America is better than Nigeria's glorious days. And the reason I say it is my light is on. I can get in my car at midnight and drive anywhere I want. Freeways are different from highways. If I get a contract, I don't need to go to the governor to have my check released or the mayor. They pay me. I'm been self-employed for 30-something years. I have clients that I don't meet. They just say, Mr. Okpa, here's the assignment. Send us an invoice. And they pay me with a note. Thank you for your business. Shoot, I make $50,000 in one assignment. In Nigeria, that's a ton of million of naira. The governor will want me to come and kiss his ass before I get paid. You want me? So why would I trade that to go run after people? Because the institutions, it doesn't exist. It's an individual.
I mean, so are we therefore doomed? Because given the current situation,
look, when I think in our last conversation, I told you in 1990 when I worked for FDIC, there were only 12 computers in the regional office. I think I mentioned that.
Yes, you did.
12. But how many years now? 31 years. Computers everywhere. So nobody's doomed. What you got to see is what is my next move? What do I see myself in the next 5 years? And that is both individuals building institutions. Remember, let me give you an example, because I am proud to have a lot of examples. When I came to America, the financial institutions were failing. Savings and loan, which we don't no longer have, many of them, they failed. And what came out of it? are banks with stronger regulations. But that regulation keep getting changed. Keep getting changed. So you are doomed if you don't change things that are keeping you, that got you doomed in the first place. Africans are not changing the things that got them doomed. No. We have parliament. You know the difference between parliament and what is it called? Congress. In a parliament, you still are that benevolent. There's some big guy there who's going to say, "Oh, what you did is crap. I'm not going to accept it." Isn't that what Africans have? Parliament. That's why the president of Cameroon, the president of Ghana, Nigeria can override all of them, and they have nowhere to say no, you can't do it. So we have to change the things that got us doomed in the first place. Remember, the money America has, God did not wire it to them. If God had wired money to America, I'll be mad at him. America built their money system. So when you're asking America to send you money, they can decide to give you or don't decide to, not give you. One verse in the Bible that I find very crappy. They say to those who much are given, much are required. Heck no. If I work hard for my money, I am not supposed to give to anybody. Go do your own. So I don't subscribe to that verse in the Bible to those much because it makes people lazy. And then I like debt. You know why I like debt?
No.
Because it keeps me awake every night to pay it. Because if I pay everything I have in cash, I get lazy. So Africans like to do cash. I own everything. I own my house. And then they get, no, you want to be in debt. Okay? You want to be in debt because then you want to wake up and you got to be creative to address the debt. You got to be innovative to address the debt. You got to work hard, to do that.
So Edward says the word supplication is in my Bible. At some point, we must give in to our pride as individuals and get to our knees to pray to a God for transformation to take place in Africa. Well, again, I don't know whether God is going to come and transform Africa based on...
I didn't say this about supplication. I'm just saying this about equality and beg.
Yes, that's...
So if he's substituting word, that's a consolation. That is just to make him fine. I don't even read the Bible. The last time I read it was 1977. I don't go to church. The only reason I go to church is so that my wife don't talk at it, and I go sometimes. I don't clap. I don't kneel down. I don't go for communion. I don't let pastor touch my head when they want to pray. They don't pray for me. I say, pray for yourself. I can pray for me. So all those things people talk about Bible, I don't do it. I don't, Jesus was crucified. Life moved on. So I was raised a Catholic. And that's it. The statement in the Bible. Now I'm going to offend people. They say Jesus died for our sins. No, he died for his own sins. I'm going to die for my sins. And when I die and go to God, I'm going to have the judgment. But then why is God going to judge me? Because he already knew what I did. He's just going to wave me one way or the other, hell or heaven. But then nobody's going to know because God doesn't send the judgment statements to anybody. So he lost our privacy. So I don't waste time on religion. I don't care about those things. It's a membership-driven organization. That's why you have Baptist, Presbyterian, all kinds of religion. It's a membership. They tell you this is how you got to worship God, but it's one God. So I chose to worship it my way, not with a pastor, not with a spiritual leader, not with a pope. If I see the pope, I ain't going to kiss his ring. I will say, "What's up, pope?" Okay, so I want to offend the religious people. My going to heaven or hell has nothing to do with any individual who claims to know God more than I do. I know God. I know my God. He has worked for me. So I'm not going to go to any pastor to make me feel any kind of special way. I will never give money to a pastor. If I want to help somebody, I do a direct investment in them, not through a church. That's my statement. And in fact, when I die, I've told my wife, when I die, I don't want no pastor to pray for me. If my wife is still alive, I say, honey, all I want her to say, honey, you did your time. I'll see you next time. Bye. I don't want nobody to come sing. I don't want nobody to come and pray. I'm gone. That is my position with religion. I don't need all of that.
we'll talk about religion on another day. I'm a staunch Catholic, so just so you know, we'll talk about this.
Fine. I mean, you go to confession. I ain't confessing nothing.
Right. So again, let's I love the thing about sympathy, empathy, and strategies, and I really wanted us to like peel back and say, you have been invited. Presume, for example, a bunch of African immigrants have just arrived this country, and you're called to come and talk to them as to what are the things they should be looking out for in order to improve on themselves. What are you going to tell them?
Okay, I'll tell you what I told myself. Okay, I told you how I came here. Some people in my village I already know were here, but when I came and I found that what they were saying were not stimulating my mind, I cut them off. So what I would tell any African, remember we have 50 states, and those 50 states act like nations. You got to understand how your state works. What are the rules and regulations that are peculiar to your state? Because what is affecting me in Texas may not affect you in Maryland. Okay? Our schools, school system, because, your kids are going to go or you got to go. You understand that system and you start to know the law. I mean, these things you're not going to get it overnight. But if I'm to speak to them, I say, first of all, be legal. Make sure are you a student? Keep the requirement for your student so that your visa keep being renewed. Are you an immigrant? You got an immigrant visa. That means you're already a green card holder. And then are you going to be a citizen? I went through all of that. I became a citizen. I became a green card holder, and I became a citizen. I didn't want to be a citizen because, at the time I felt, I was already college educated in Nigeria. I never borrowed money to go to school. So, I felt good. I felt my country and my family is giving me, my country of birth and my family is giving me a life. Why should I change it? But then I said to myself, in order for me to get invested and involved in America, which my father already said to me, go to America, be engaged and involved. I said, I got to become a citizen. So I chose to apply for my citizenship. I didn't consult with anybody. And then on the day, I took the oath of citizenship, which says, hey, if America is going to go to war with Nigeria, then I'm going to be armed, because that's, I'm a citizen of America. Lambert, that's when I said, I'm going to know every president in this country. I'm going to get involved because if there's a war and I'm bearing arms for America, I got family members over there. So I'm going to make sure I go to the president and say, hey, can we talk about this? That's what drives me. The policy of things drives me, not the money part of everything. So for the new immigrant, understand the geography of where you are. I have never lived anywhere else. I've lived in the same zip code since 1987. I've maintained the same telephone number. I've got my mobile phone number since 1990. I mean, how many Africans have a phone number that is 30-something years old? And I still drive the same car I bought in 1987. So focus on yourself. Focus on what is going to strengthen you and give you confidence before you start doing your village people. Because, most people have a different agenda. Some of them are here to, do something and get into crime. I don't do association. I don't belong. My wife will tell you I'm not a joiner, but I'm a participant if it makes sense. So that's what I would tell you. And then if you're going to go to school, are you going to school for your ability? Are you going to school for your interest? Africans go to school for their ability, not their interest. And the reason for that is, a nursing makes money. Being a doctor makes money. Okay, fine. It's your ability. You can go read that book and pass the test and they give you a license as one of those. But that's not your interest. So because if you go to school for your interest, you keep learning. And you're gonna do more. So you got people, you got many Africans that are doing home health care. Who never even thought of being a nurse. But because nurses make money in America, everybody jumps. It's an ability thing. It's not an interest thing. So my interest is what prepares what I want to know and the school I went to. When I went to Harvard, I didn't go because I was chasing a degree. I already said, one day I'll go to an Ivy League school. And in 2005, I applied, I was accepted, and I went there for a 2-year program that I finished in 1 year. Now, does it make me any better? No. because I already knew something when I went. It's just that, hey, it's something that people say, oh, he's a Harvard guy. Well, Harvard didn't teach me 1+1. I already knew it before I went there. So answer that question yourself. And then you say, if you're in business, are you in business because of government policies? Or are you in business because you want to be in business? It's not everybody that is cut out to go work for themselves. Okay? I mean, for my 34 years in America, I've worked for myself for what, 30 something years. I did that for the first 3 or 4 years I was in this country, working for. But then my father said, I hope he didn't go to America to become a civil servant. And I resigned. And I've been there. And I'm glad that I did because, Lambert, I am not supervisable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you put me on a job, I don't want you to supervise me. Just tell me what to do. I'm very rebellious mentally and intellectually. So if I have a boss or a supervisor who I know more than, I'm going to make him or her know that I know more than you. And then that's not going to be good because the employee is supposed to behave like sheep. Hey, do it, do it. I'm not that kind of person. So because I knew I don't want to cause commotion for myself and anybody, I left to go fend for myself, to go do it for myself and my money. Some days I earn, some days but I have the freedom of thought. I have the ability to go anywhere. I have been to every state in America except for maybe 4 or 5. I can go to Africa any day if I have a need to do it. I don't have to get anybody's vacation time. So that is what I will share. But then you as an individual will choose. Yeah. But then if you get into corporate America, Lambert, there's a politics in corporate America. How do you get into the executive office? How do you rise through that system? There are steps that are needed to do that. So I'm not saying that everybody should go get a view for themselves. If you choose to be in that ABC company or public or school, then learn how to go towards the top. And as you're doing it, how are you bringing in people that are going to back you up? Because Africans go into this company and say, I'm the only one there. Yeah, you are the only one there, but if they want to fire you, they don't even think twice about it. You just get you out of the place. But if you have helped other people, if you build your network, if you see opportunities, you tell people, hey man, my company is hiring, this is the recruiter, give me your resume or send your resume to this. Because they're always asking their employees, do you know somebody, do you know anybody good for this position? Africans don't want to do it. I mean, have you ever seen one India alone in any company?
No, but again, that's an interesting thing because I know we talked about this in a different context sometime last year. The problem with us is you refer somebody who comes in and then in turn wants to take you down, isn't it?
No. You let them know ahead of time. You say, dude, I'm bringing you in here. If you mess up, I'll be the first to recommend you to be fired. You don't even hide it. You let them know. I said, he said, I'm putting my reputation on the line for you. If you do something here, undermine me or or bring your village talk about me to them, they're going to tell me because they know me. That's why you are here. Because you know what? You have heard the expression, put the fear of God in people because that way they're going to know not to mess with you. If I bring you into a deal and you try to go around me, I'll cut you. You'll be out in a minute. Because my relationship is what opened the door for you. But Africans, we don't say that.
Yeah, I think it's just the experience that many people have gone through,
but you never said it to them.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
You never told them.
And I think
we have to. We don't, Africans do a lot of assumptions. We assume a lot of things. So we're not clear in our communication with people. So we assume, oh yeah, we're going to be good. No. Even when I give money to my siblings in Nigeria, I tell them, I say, hey, this is it. Don't call me again. I'm not giving you any more money. And don't assume my money is yours. Because, the same way I was born is the same way you were born. My circumstances is different. It's not better. So if you're gonna, if you wanna ask me for something, ask me in a way to make me help you out. But don't think because I'm your brother or your sister, my money is yours. No, You know, in fact, when they come to my house, before they come, I told them, how long are you staying? What is your visit purpose and all of that? If they check yes and yes, I told them, and I hold them to that 2 weeks. You don't come to my house to become a permanent resident. You know, but I say these things so that the assumption goes away. And people are going to be a little more responsive when they have a clear understanding of what they are going to expect. Isn't that better?
Right, it is. And I was saying that this is a good segue into the second part of what I wanted you to. So there are lots of African immigrants who have settled here, made their mistakes, and they're trying to look for different ways of improving. What advice would you have for those kind?
Well, you know, your mistake, you know, if you made a mistake, why did you make the mistake? Did you make the mistake because of you are ignorant of a situation, or you made the mistake because it was an emotional thing? Your village people, you know, you went to them and they gave you wrong advice or suggestion. Lambert, you know, when I came to America, you know, I didn't even know what a green card was. Okay. So I went to my village guys who've been here before me. I said, man, what is this green card? They told me, man, you know, Igbo people say akukondo, you know, like, oh yeah, that's the thing, you know, that's your big. And I was like, what is it a card that is green? It's basically, you know, something that legitimizes your stay in America. So I said, okay. So one day I ran into this lady in a club, you know, and you know, she's like, oh, where are you from? Nigeria? How long you been here? I've been here like 6 months. And she's like, do you know what a green card? Do you have a green card? I said, no, I don't. And she said, well, do you want to have one? I said, yeah, if I know what it means and what it does. So I went and talked to my village guys. I said, man, I ran into this lady who's asking me about green card, and she says she's going to help me do it. You know what they told me, Lambert? They said, man, run away from her. She's going to put you into trouble. Well, you know, they started giving me all these bad experiences based on their own experience. You know what, Lambert? I defied them. I got my green card before they did. You know, because you see, this is how Africans operate. Africans want you to have the same experience they had. If they married an American woman, didn't work out, they say, oh man, American women are bad. Sure, there's no woman I dated in America that wanted to steal from me. We always ended up nicely because I wasn't there to abuse them. Okay, so my point is, what mistake did you make? The mistake out of ignorance, and now you have cured that ignorance because you now know better, or did you make it because of emotion? Everybody's made a mistake. Did you learn from it? You know, and the way a bunch of us have treated a bunch of the American women, you know, because 80% of African immigrants in this country probably got their green card through marrying somebody. Is it not a fact? Mm-hmm. So how do you relate to those people? Did you use them to get it, or did you work? I mean, hey, if the relationship didn't work out because there's a cultural clash and stuff, well, it's understandable, and then we can still remain friends. But you say, oh man, I'm going to trick her, she wouldn't know. And then while you're doing that, you have a village woman in Africa, and one day the village wife comes to visit you, and you call them their cousins and all stuff like that. Start lying about stuff. Those things always come back to hurt people. So play it safe. Recognize you are here in America because of you, not because of your village people. I always tell Nigerians, hey, I didn't come to America because of Nigerian scholarship. I came here because of me. So whatever I decide to do for Nigeria is because of me, not because I'm a Nigerian. So that's the mistake Africans make. They still tie what they do to their tribe and their nation and their friends, and they lose themselves. They forget who they are. Who are you in this whole thing? What's your position? What's your value? What is it that you're not going to do? So that's my advice to them. And then, if you're going to go to school, again, go to school for what you really want, you believe in, not because of what you think is going to make you money. Because we chase money. Africans have this money. Oh, my nurses are bringing in money, doctors. America is the only country where doctors earn so much money. Do you know why?
Insurance companies.
Insurance. And then, so many people are medication. So insurance, when you bill and they pay you. But Lambert myself, I've never been sick. I have no doctor.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't have any personal, what do they call it, family doctor. I've never been sick. I've never had a headache in my life. I'm in my 60s. I have no diabetes. I have no hypertension because I know how to cut off stuff. I eat once a day. When I go to Nigerian parties, I don't eat over there. I eat before I go to the party, so I don't see myself, munching of goat meat that are not properly cooked. Or rice that is not properly cooked is going to mess up my system. You have to have some discipline. You got to discipline yourself in life in order for you to do certain things. When I started riding bicycle, you know why I started riding bicycle, Lambert?
Yeah.
I used to play soccer. I was the team escort for Green Eagles, Nigeria Super Eagles in 1994 World Cup. Next time I will show you my FIFA badge and Nigerian footballer. I was a good soccer player. I played in high school, I played in college, and I played North Texas League. But here's what, this is why I stopped playing soccer. So when I got divorced from my ex-wife, or I was going through that, if I go to play soccer, I'm going to have a bunch of people, 11 or 20 of them, and everybody's talking. I say, hey, GK, where's your wife? Where's going? And I don't like to talk about certain things with people that I have no interest, that have no useful involvement in it. And I said to myself, Lambert, I'm going to find a sport that I can do, that I don't have to rely on a bunch of people. And bicycle was it, Lambert. I went and bought a bicycle and I started riding. Man, that's changed my whole perception because I know I can do 40 miles, 60 miles, 30 miles, and I don't have to do it with a bunch of people talking to me. I did it for me. I pulled myself out of the crowd to secure my own mentality. So most people didn't even know whether I was divorced or not because I never talked about it. I never shared anything. When I go see my kids, I go alone. The first time my kids at the time, they were very young. The first time they saw a woman, was when my wife, now we decided we're going to marry. Then I introduced her. But for a good 9 years, I never took any girlfriend or anybody to go see my kids. It was for my own sanity. People were like, "Oh, you go do this, do that." I was like, "Dude, I don't need that from you." So you have to self-preserve. I have sent you many messages that say self-preservation is the first order of business. Anything else is playing to the gallery. So why are you playing to the gallery to please people who they know the pain? When you have pain, you know the pain. You know how to manage it. So I thank God a lot. If I die today, I have no regrets. And, I'm not saying, oh, God has to give me this number of years. If my time is up, I will go happily because, all my body parts are still intact. I have no medication I take. I have no medication. I don't do vitamin. But, Lambert, when I go riding bicycle, my wife will tell you this. I don't drink water. I ride 40 miles, no water drinking. You know how they tell you, oh, you got to drink water? My body is already 90% water. So I don't have to put more water in my body until my body said, you need it. But a lot of people just drink because somebody, some kind of voodoo science or whatever the case may be. So you got to drink. No, I don't. Just like I eat once a day. So what works for you? What works for you? You are the center of the universe, not everybody around you. Anywhere you are the center of the universe. So I am personal to me. I'm selfish to my life. I mean, I'm self-centered, but I'm not selfish. If you come to my house, you will not watch TV with me. It's conversation. Don't watch TV with people. We can sit down and, I have 4 living rooms. You can be in my man cave, or we can be in one of my, small libraries with books, or we sit in my living room and have conversation and look at each other and talk about stuff, not to come and watch TV. or we sit in my little dining. If my wife decides to give food, you know what, the Lambert, if people are coming to my house, I will tell them my wife is not a maid. She don't expect to eat.
So okay, so self-preservation, pull yourself out of the crowd, do it for yourself. Great, all discipline and all that good stuff. But I think that you always need mentors to be able to, help you accomplish this dream.
But you have to decide what you want people to mentor you on. Okay, my wife have this thing. I mean, my wife always say, "Oh, don't teach people who are unteachable." So if you want a mentor, you gotta choose what it is. But let me give you an example about this mentorship business. Okay, in my early years in America, again, early 90s, I met one of the prominent Dallas family members, in the oil and gas business. So, people were talking about mentors stuff. And at this event, I went to him and I said, Mr. Hunt, I introduced myself. And I said, hey, I'm new in the country. I'm interested in the mentor stuff. He looked at me. You know what he said?
No.
He said, you probably know more than I do. Just get out and do it. I also want to give you a book reference because it's called Chances of a Lifetime. You want to write it down?
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's Chances of a Lifetime. And it was written by Warren Christopher, who was Secretary of State, before Madeleine Albright in Clinton's administration. So Warren Christopher left and then Madeleine Albright came in. It's Chances of a Lifetime. And I'm going back to that mentorship stuff. So when Warren finished law school and, he went to somebody and said, hey, he said, hey, can you mentor me? And blah, blah, blah. You know what that person told him?
No.
He said, Warren, life is like a stream. Jump in it and swim as fast as you can. Because if mentoring is like, I'm going to create a curriculum, I'm going to say, this is the steps you got to do it. Life is not about this sort of culture, process, steps. It's not. I can share my experience, and my experience can inspire you to do more, but you may not do it exactly the way I did it. That's why I share my story. I have this saying, each one reach one, with inspiring stories.
Yeah.
Not so that you do it the way I did it or the way Lambert did it, but it's, oh wow, Lambert did that. I can see myself in that. Or you know what? That's a good thing. It inspires, but you cannot duplicate it. So that's my mentorship. I have people that come through. I have conversation with them. I just start to have conversation. Africans don't have conversation. Anytime you go to the beer parlor, what are they doing? Shouting and everybody talking about each other, talking over each other. I'd like to sit down with people. What I enjoy about with you, Lambert, is conversation. It's not a debate.
Right.
It's not this is how you do it. It's more about this is how you can do it. So let's go back to this, what African immigrants could be doing in America. Do you know we have no community bank?
Right. That's a huge, huge problem.
Okay. And, Western Union has made a bunch of money out of us. But in America, there's an economic clause in most states, and Texas has it for economically disadvantaged people that can enable them set up something like a credit union because you don't have access to capital. If all those churches Africans have, because that's one industry we grow faster than anybody, more churches, Immigrants come here to invent technology, and the Africans come here with churches. Okay. But those churches are in real estate. So who are financing those real estate for them? Institutions that don't subscribe to their church anything. What if you have your own community bank? And then they will lend you money to buy those real estate that you pay, and that's when you pay back on the land, on the loan. You create wealth, and they can lend you money to buy a car. They can lend you money to start small businesses. Most small business loan in America is less than 100,000, but we spend it to go build a church because we're expecting manna from heaven. So that is the things we can look at. How do we have a community bank? How do we have credit union? Because those institutions will cater to your need as opposed to the big institutions. The big institutions might pretend, but you go to Bank of America, try to get a loan for 100,000 and see if they will process your paper, because they that's too much. That's still really long. But how many people are going to be asking for 100,000? Most people are going to need 25 to start a small shop, or be able to incubate an idea they have or something. So you need institutions that can you raise it with your friends? How many Africans are willing, Lambert, you and I, you have an idea now, and I said, hey, it's going to cost me 20,000 to do it. How many Africans will say, hey, Lambert, how much do you need? Here's my money. I'm investing in you so that we can grow this. That's how America is. You have little Italy, little Mexico. Do you have little Cameroon? Do you have little Nigeria? Even though Nigerians say, anytime they graduate, you go to graduation list of most universities in America, you see Nigerian people. After that, what else? Have you ever been to any neighborhood and you see a bunch of Nigerian immigrants or businesses in that? This is how you measure immigrants' presence in America. If you already don't know, you look at the census, you look at the zip code, and then you look at the census tract in the zip code, because it will tell you who lives there. There is no census tract or zip code in America that is dominated by African immigrants, because we don't migrate like other immigrants.
Yeah.
They say, there are cities in America, they will say it's Irish, it's Italian, it's German, it's Russian, it's Jews, it's Mexicans, it's Jamaicans, or Africans migrate on individual. Your brother is in Cameroon, is in Los Angeles, and your sister is in anywhere. We have no collective presence. So we're not able to offer any political people any number. But you see all these politicians, look at the little girl, or the girl, sorry, not little, but the girl who won congressional seat from Minnesota, the Somalian girl.
Yes.
Okay. The reason she did it because America moved a bunch of Somalians and, all those people from there to a particular part of Somalia.
Minnesota. Mm-hmm.
Collectively, more like a forced migration, because they came as refugees.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been able to create a number, So it's a compliment, but that's not how Africans migrate. Africans migrate alone. Other immigrants find where their own people are and they settle over there because they want to create some culture while they are trying to melt into America. The Africans go, a doctor in Minnesota, he might go to Alaska, he found one Nigerian doctor, but he has no community. Because we are driven by our careers. We chase the job wherever we can find it. Immigrants chase communities. Africans chase jobs.
Right. That's a challenge for you. I think Mr. Okpa should pull like-minded Africans and start what he's describing.
Yes, I wish we can have what is it called? Have in-person stuff and think tank, but I don't want to be in a tank with people who don't know how to think. Because it will be more like crabs. It will be more like crabs in a bucket. Everybody's pulling down on everybody. I don't mind that, but I want to, I want to play in a team where everybody's goal is defined and everybody's pulling in. Yes, I want to do this, Lambert. I am successful in America, and I don't talk about money. I know my governor. I know every political figure that represents me. I know what the issues are in my city. I go to City Hall and I talk about issue. I know about police. I've been through the police academy. Spent 9 weeks with that police, Dallas police citizens. So I know law enforcement. I spent 9 weeks with the FBI. I understand that part. I've been to FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. I've been to Quantico, in Virginia, where they are trained. I have those access. I've known every FBI guy in charge of Dallas division since 2003. How many years is that? 18 years. I have done what they call the FBI audit. You know what the FBI audit is?
No.
Every year. So often they will select citizens and FBI will come and talk to those citizens about FBI, what they think, what rule, policies and stuff. They've done it to me. And how many Africans who say they don't even have this kind of contact or resources? So I know law enforcement because I know what is the issue in my region. So how many of us know what the issues are in their own community? So that's my thing. Get involved. Open your eyes. You already have the education. How I look at education, is if you have, what I call MOPP.
Yes.
Yes. If you have the MOPP mentality, you can get any degree you want in America. And I can explain what that is. The M is the means to pay for it. The opportunity you get admitted. Even C students go to college in America, so that ain't no big deal. And then you have the presence. You have to be present because you have to maintain certain attendance. And then you have to persist. So if you have the MOP mentality, you can mop up any degree you want in America, but that does not transform you. What is going to transform you is your engagement and involvement in your community. Start to open your mouth. People will challenge you. You will challenge them. If they challenge you and what you don't know, okay, you go and know it. But you can't just say, a master's degree and PhD. Africans think the more degree they have, the more money they make. A lot of Africans, if the universities they attended come back to them and said, okay, let's do this. You know how they say satisfaction guaranteed or your money back?
Mm-hmm.
If a lot of the universities say, if you're not satisfied with your degree, bring it back for your money. What do you think is going to happen? A lot of people are going to throw in their degrees and, hey, please give me my money back. Because it has not worked for them. The perception of what they think the masters and the PhDs are going to do for them has not done it. So some of them are frustrated because they had the wrong impression, on how to do what education is going to do for them. And okay, in America, what the percentage of Americans that have 4-year college degree?
No.
It's about 10%.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, about 10%. About 22% have college education. That is, they didn't finish. But Africans, if you go to the African community, maybe our percentage of people who have degrees probably 70 or 80%. But we are the least involved. We are the least economically vibrant. We are the least politically engaged. We are the least, globally respected. Because we don't engage institutions. We are not policy driven. How many of the issues that affect Africa that has African immigrants written to the Congress in order to do what? To effect the policy. Lambert, you know what? If the African immigrant group in America is a formalized and formidable group,
yeah,
all these African leaders they say are stealing money and putting it in America, we can stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Because all we got to do is, anytime we hear this president bought this, we just go in and we use the laws that are available to us to investigate it. And if we find out the money is stolen, we seize the asset. And once you do it to one or two, they run away and they'll start to respect you. But if you're going to go home like Nigerians do, the people that are abusing your country are the people you're running home to go and impress. How are they going to take you seriously? Huh? No, you should be able to go to Cameroon and people say, Lambert is here. And you are here because you have been that man, the man who was married to a wife, you know which one is better. But you don't go back and start doing the same things they're doing. Throwing money in the air, dancing the way they dance. You know, when Africans dance, they don't look forward, they look at their butt. They are shaking their butt. Don't you see that? Why are you looking back? Why are you looking backwards? When you, you ever see other people dance looking in their butt? Africans are shaking their butt and looking at it. You know, dance and look forward, not looking at your shaking butt.
Yes.
Huh?
So you have a fan today. You have Dr. Nicholas Starr. He says, we are ready to join with you to make this happen. Just let us know when and we'll be there. And he's also added up, Lambert, this is one powerful African. We need to plan a trip to Dallas.
Hey, tell him, man. The love is mutual. I'm loving him back. If you guys, people say COVID, but America is still moving. So, again, the lazy ones, like my mom always say, lazy farmer always has issue with every weather. Is that too hot or too cold?
Right.
So tell him if you guys want to come, hey, I'll put you up in a hotel. We can do the FaceTime. Yeah, we can take a walk. I'm all about that. I'm a face-to-face guy. I'm in-person guy. Technology is beautiful, but I'm in-person. Lambert, I'm sincere in the way I say things. I'm not saying it to get impressions, but I say it to provoke people. And, when people don't like me, they're doing me a favor. I don't like them back. I move on. Because, hey, in the Bible, didn't, of all the things that Jesus did, only one person came back and said, thank you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not looking for a crowd. I'm looking for somebody, who can make a crowd. People say, oh, a tree does not make a forest. I say it's a lie. One tree can produce the seedlings that make a forest. Looking for a forest before, no. Find one tree that can produce to ignite the rest. So if you guys want to come, trust me, hey, let's, we are about to enter the springtime, beautiful weather. COVID is not, COVID is a limiting factor, but it's not a constraining factor. In fact, let me give an idea. This is we can I've been wanting to have what I call the African Society or the African Foundation. It's going to be issue driven, not when people die they want to get together and do work. My attitude to that: if you don't have insurance and you die, we can give your body to the research people and find what's wrong with you. If you live in this country, you're supposed to do what most people do: buy an insurance, because life has a terminal nature. I bought my first insurance in 1987. I've had life insurance since then. So if I die, I don't want a committee of friends to come. My wife will make the decision what happens to me. Anybody who is not in fact, I told my wife, if somebody who I don't know show up at my funeral ceremony, I get up from that coffin and slap the person. I don't need your money. We got to make that provision, but we can have this African society, of America, or U.S. African society. It becomes issue driven. We look at issues and policies. We enable ourselves to be invested in this country. I mean, if you want to go back to Cameroon, you came from there. You know what I mean? You're going back to where. But if you want to be here, this is the new promised land. We have to be invested, and we start to use this vehicle to write letters, to be vocal, to reach politicians, and write, because Americans will read. If you write them, they will gonna acknowledge it, especially if you're writing about issues. But I don't want to use the society for wedding attendance. Oh, let's invite a group of us and give us a special table. I'm not going to show up. I don't want it for child naming ceremony. No, I don't want it for anything personal. I want it for the collective good of us, and it's going to be policy issue driven. If we got to go in Congress, we get invited, somebody goes in, and every year we will have an event. We can move it around the cities, and we raise events. We have, we start talking about issues. The African American issues are not our issues. You know that.
Very, very important point, because there's that we tend to conflate the issues. We think that what they are suffering is the same, and I think it's
No,
a
no, no,
very
I don't, it's not, their issues may be similar to mine, but
similar. Yeah.
I'm not here to talk about, illiteracy or child, having babies at home or, all this other stuff. No, my issue, I sympathize. I can feel for them, but I don't want to be in their shoes. So our issues are international. Our issues are, outside of that. Immigration issue. If we have Africans that are having immigration issue, we can educate them before they come to America. We'll have things. Hey, if you come in here, these are things you got to be aware of. Coming to America is just physical. You have physically done it, but there are other mental things you have to prepare yourself for in order for you to be effective, in order for that migration to make you sense. But if you come in here to preach your culture, there's no need for you to come. Well,
Right. I say right. I think, again, this has been part of, even though we did not plan it that way, it is growing up to be a community. So we are laying the foundation for this. Dr. Nicholas, thank you for the suggestion. And you can see we are, Sir Okpa is already fleshing that out. I think we continue to have these conversations every Wednesday and build this community. And I think it's very important issues. Again, one of the things that Sir Okpa has stressed a lot about is that we are so much taken up by sympathy. We need to get into an area where we start developing strategies to be able to impact our community. And it's not just our local, but also international. And so, Sir Okpa, before, I think we have gone long enough. You want to give us a last word?
Well, I think we're now, a name is out of here now. So if Nicholas and you guys, if you guys want to take this seriously, then what we're gonna do, we take the steps and we protect the name. We make sure we register it. We call it the U.S. Africa Society, or Foundation. We can register those two names. You put on GoDaddy.com so nobody takes it, and then we now begin to build a community around it. It's going to be invitation only. We invite people to be members, or you can join on a general forum. Okay? But those who are going to be the leadership, those who are going to champion this image and bring the goodwill to the organization, they have to be credible people. Because once you put your foot out in America, you do something like that, people are going to start to say, who are you? So we want people who are legit in this country. No illegal immigrant is going to be part of it. Nobody who has criminal record is going to be part of the leadership. And because they're going to vet everything. What I mean? They're going to go Google. So if they say, oh, look at who is member of them, then you're done. So we have to take that responsibility. We have to own this. And then we put it out there. And it's no longer about you are Cameroon or Ghanaian or Nigerian. This is African in America. And if issues that are in Cameroon that are of interest to us, we write. Issues have to be of interest. We engage.
Atanga Chan, excellent proposal. Dr. Ta, I'm all for it. And so let the records reflect that on this 24th day of February 2021, the birth of a new organization under the inspiration, under the command, under the leadership of Sir Okpa is born. And born on this platform, we have been having these conversations for the last five weeks. And these conversations are supposed to last throughout the year. And I'm happy that just in the first, call it second month, we are already going for something. So again, I want to thank everybody. Dr. Ta, thank you. I love his entrepreneurial spirit. Yes, I mean, if this is your first time listening to Sir Okpa, you have missed a lot of it. You can go back on our YouTube channel, on my Facebook page. He's been with me every Wednesday for the last 5 weeks, I think. And our plan is to have this, just regular conversations about how African immigrants in the United States can impact African development. And I think that this is the birth of the organization. Except Sir Okpa has any other thing.
Well, you know what? Just what I'm saying. So if we have issues with the trade or immigration or State Department, we'll send them a letter on that name. And we will say, hey, we would like to testify. There's a recent program going on about power in Africa, and I look at the panel. The panel that they're all white people. I have nothing against white people. But I said, how are you proposing solution for Africa and Africans are not involved in it? This is not the slavery time. This is not the colonial time. We have Africans that are well educated. If you want to have a solution for Africa, invite some of them. Maybe they will tell you something you don't know. And then people are responding to that. I am not afraid to speak up because I am not looking for popularity. I've told you, if you don't like me, I say, thank God I don't like you. But we have to claim this country. Everybody came to America in some form of way. Either you came in illegally, but you have legalized your stay, or you came 400 years ago, or you came 4 seconds ago. The point is, you're in America. If this is your country of choice, claim it. Participate. Be involved. If people don't understand your accent, tell them they are not intelligent. Okay? Because hey, your English, what is his name, Henry Kissinger, when he speaks sometimes, you know what I mean, people still understood him, and he was Secretary of State. Arnold Schwarzenegger, his English is not better than mine, and he was governor. So don't hide yourself because of your accent. People will listen to you if you have content. If you have something to say, they will pay attention. Have you ever seen anybody who refused to take your money because of your accent?
No.
So they will still take it because they understand what money, they have the value of money. So that is what we're going to do with this organization. And we're going to select people who are involved. In economics, there's what they call barrier to entry. Yeah, you create a barrier to entry. They can go from their own. That's fine. We work on competition, but we know what we are doing. But the U.S. African society will be a powerful tool for us to use to start letting everybody know. You may have done it to us, years ago, but if you do it to me now, you ain't going to get away with it. I tell people, I say, if you slap my father because of colonial or slavery and he couldn't defend himself, that's fine. But if you slap me, guess what I'm going to do? I don't turn the other cheek. I'll punch your face. So we gotta let people know it's a new day. We can't be saying, "Oh, you enslaved me." I ain't got no chain. Nobody's ever put a chain around me. The history of slavery is what empowers me to stand up and tell anybody you cannot do it to me, and I dare you to try to do it to me. But if we start to look for empathy, we get sympathy. So I will close on that note. But again, I think. You see, we didn't plan all these things, but you see things come out of it.
Correct.
So I love the who is the fine girl? I'm liking her already.
Sylvia, so she's an author, and she's writing a series. She was on my show 2 weeks ago, Sylvia, and Diaspora is in Exodus. The Lord has said to leave your country, your people, and your father's house, and go to the land I'll show you. Wherever you are in the world is home. I think that's a great one. Wherever.
I mean, home for me is not physical; it's where I find peace.
Right. So those living in any part of the world pay taxes in that location and should be able to develop their communities to meet their needs. Exactly the point that Sir Okpa has been hammering on here, isn't it? We should be able to know our local environment. There's a problem within our community that we need to start solving. So again, thank you.
Well, again, if every week you could say, hey, this is the number of tuning or liking, it doesn't matter. If we can get one convert, it's better than a lousy 100. Okay?
Right.
So you remember the guy who went for one sheep after the other 99 was
Yes.
So we keep adding one at a time, but let it be quality one.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's been a great Wednesday. Looking forward to it. I am on every Monday, every Wednesday, every Saturday. This Saturday, next Saturday, we should be talking about immigration, everything being equal. But thank you all for coming. We are on again next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central Time. I'm grateful to all those who showed up. Sylvia, I know I owe you I owe you something on your about your book. I need to write a review. I'm going to do that tonight. Again, thanks, and looking forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Thank you all. Sign up on my Facebook, sign up on my YouTube channel, and continue the conversations there. Thank you all, and have a good evening.